Just a disclaimer, if you don't like this video, there's no need to leave any hate comments. And I'm sorry if I go too fast, this is just my natural speed and I cannot slow down. Hi everyone, this is iCrafts, and today I'm going to show you how to make this really pretty Souris bracelet designed by mt_lovesart. And Souris means mouse in French. I don't take French, so I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right at all. And this is the other side, so it is reversible. If you love this design as much as I do, please give this video a thumbs up. And if you want to make this bracelet, then just keep watching. So in order to make this bracelet, you'll be needing a hook, and there is some tension, so I recommend using a metal touch hook. You will also, of course, need a C-clip or S-clip to hold your bracelet together. And then you'll need any type of loom as long as it's in this configuration right here. And as for bands, today I'll be using white for my border, and then for the insides I'll be using the Sweets, pink, and also the turquoise. And these are the old Sweets, the 300 pack. If you're using bands with a lot of tension like these, then you should definitely use a metal touch hook if you don't want to risk breaking your plastic hook. Once you've gathered all of these supplies, then you can just jump right into making the bracelet. So you'll want to start with your arrows pointing away from you. And I'm going to just begin with my border. Well, take your border color, I'm using white like I said. Just go from the middle pin bar out to the left. And I'm just making sure my bands aren't twisted. If they are, it's fine, you can just fix that later. And then I'm going to just go in a straight line up both pin bars. Sorry if I say just too much. You're not going to go up the middle. This is a normal border. You can go left to right, or you can do them both at the same time. Just make sure that you're going from bottom to top. So I'm going back to the bottom, and you want to make sure that you close it off like this, just going inwards. Sorry I didn't say that, but it's usually this border in most bracelets. In the video, I was kind of just talking about random things, so I decided to add music, but all I'm doing is placing the border just like I did it on the other side. So once you've placed the entire border, your loom should look like this. Just a little focus. So it's just a basic border. I'm going to just go back to the bottom of my loom. And we're going to start on the inside. So I'll be starting with my pink. So I'm taking my pink and I'm going to do a long stretch from the middle peg, the first one. Then instead of going like this to the first peg on the left, I'm going to stretch it up to the second peg on the left. I'm going to repeat that on the other side. So the first middle pin to the second on the right. So it should be symmetrical. And then I'm going to the first peg on the left into the second peg on the middle. So this will make a cross. And I'm going to repeat that. First peg on the right to the second peg in the middle. So this is the pattern so far. And now I'm going to do a parallel band. So I'm going to go from the second peg on the left to the third peg in the middle. Second peg on the right to the third peg in the middle. And it's like a diamond with these bands. And switch colors and repeat that. So I'm going to first do the long stretch. Make sure that you're not going like this. You want to stretch it to the peg beyond that. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the right. And then make these bands going inwards. Like I said before, you can pause if I'm going too fast. And I'm going to continue to speed up so you can go back to when I did the pink. So like this. Another way to do it, going back to my pink, is to do the long stretch. You always want to do the long stretches first. And then from where you ended it, just go diagonally normally. All these hairs are getting stuck in my loom. I'm really sorry, but I have long hair. So I made the diamond, and I'm just going to go a pin below that and go diagonal like this. And my bands are really twisted, but I'm not going to spend a lot of time fixing that. I'll just do it later. And I'm going to keep doing that until I reach the end of my loom. Now the last bands are going to overlap the border. So this is what my loom looks like, and you can see that these bands are always on top of the long stretches. And now I'm going to go back to my border color, make a cap band. So you can make it on 2 pegs like this and just wrap it around once. So there should be 2 loops, just a double looped band. And you can just do it on this peg, but it's easier to show. So you're going to just start by going inside your cap band. I'm going to pick up the top blue band, and this is just going to go to the left, as well as the band on the right. So whatever the top band is, just loop it to where the other end is. Nothing fancy until now. So I'm going to go inside these top 2 layers and grab this other blue band. But if we loop it to this peg where it came from, we're not going to be able to loop these bands. They'll just kind of fall apart. So instead I'm going to loop it to the middle peg right here. So instead of doing the long stretch, I'm just going to go to the peg where these bands intersect. Same thing on the right. So it's not a long stretch, it's just diagonally like normal. And now there's 2 layers you have to push back for the bands we just placed. So I'm going to just grab the top bands besides those, and this goes right here. And the next band is going to go like that. And it's also the very bottom band. And that's the hooking process. So I'm going to do that 2 more times with you, and then I'll just go my normal pace. To go inside this peg where I ended the blue, grab the top band, which is pink. Just loop this right diagonally, so nothing special. Do the same thing. I'm sorry, I'm trying to explain this as best as I can. I'm not really sure how else to phrase it. And then these pins, remember, you can't loop it to where the other end is, so we need to be able to loop these bands. So you can see these pins intersect, or these bands intersect on this pin right here, which is in the middle. So that's where I'm going to loop these long stretched bands. And now I have to just push back those last layers to grab the top band besides them, loop that right to the side, and then the very bottom band also goes to the side. Okay, so you just have to loop these bands normally, and then the long stretches all go to the center, and then you just loop outwards. So one last time, I'm going to go inside the pinks, grab the blues, loop them to wherever the end is, and then the long stretched bands both go in the center. That way our bracelet does not fall apart, because you never want that. And then the 2 top layers, push them back to reveal the other 2 bands that we have to loop. Those go normally. So now I'm just going to go at my normal pace. I'll stay on camera. I'll try to stay on camera. And I'm going to zoom out so it's a little easier for me. And you can feel free to pause the video, rewind. I really hope I explained it well enough. I'm not sure how else to do that. So I'm going to just continue. And now I finished. So this is what my loom looks like. It looks a little strange, but that's normal. And all the bands are twisted, but I'll fix that later. Now I'm going to go back to the bottom, and I'm just going to loop the border. This is very simple. I'm not going to explain it. Just loop down the sides. Basic single chain. And this just finishes your bracelet off. I keep saying just. And make sure it doesn't fall apart. Just going to follow the path. Sorry, it's kind of hard to see. So now this is what my loom looks like. I'm going to just show you the same as it was before, but with a border. So now I'm going to remove it from the loom, but you want to make sure don't take off this pin. You want to push the bands down all the way. If you take it off, your bracelet will fall apart. So I'll be right back as soon as I've taken everything off the loom except for this top pin. This is what my bracelet looks like, and it just came out like this. To put my hook through this pin, make sure it's through all the bands. Grab a white band, just drop it on this pin, and pull it through all those bands, and then you can take it off the loom. So now I'm just going to lay down some bands for my extension. Place it on this pin. It's probably all off camera, but it's okay. Going to grab my C-clip and attach it. And then this is our finished bracelet, so feel free to untwist any bands. But that is the Souris. So that's how you make the Souris bracelet, designed by mt_lovesart. Very sorry if I pronounced it wrong, but I take Spanish in school, not French. So I think it's a really nice design, and it's reversible. This side kind of reminds me of butterflies. If you like this bracelet, make sure to give it a big thumbs up, and be sure to give credit to mt_lovesart on Instagram for designing this, because a lot of people sometimes think I designed it, but I did not. And I'll have the hashtags down below. And if you tag us in the photo, we can like your picture on Instagram. So yeah, that's it for this tutorial. Sorry if I'm kind of repetitive with my outros and stuff, but I hope you enjoyed once again, and please subscribe for more videos. I'll see you next time. Bye!